Somewhere in the frozen dark of our solar system, two worlds separated by 3 billion miles just revealed they're hiding the exact same secret. One is a giant moon orbiting Saturn. The other is a lonely dwarf planet on the very edge of our solar system. They don't orbit the same star. They don't share an atmosphere. By every rule of planetary science, they should have nothing in common. But when astronomers pointed the James Webb Space Telescope at both of them, they found the exact same chemical fingerprint buried in the light bouncing off their surfaces. A signature that doesn't match anything ever recorded in a laboratory. Anywhere. Ever. And right now, nobody can explain what it actually is. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why one tiny sliver of infrared light might be one of the strangest unsolved mysteries in modern astronomy. In June 2026, a team of planetary scientists published a new study built on data from the James Webb Space Telescope, and buried inside it was something nobody expected. When they analyzed the infrared light reflecting off Titan, Saturn's largest moon, they noticed a strange dip at a very specific wavelength, 5.11 micrometers. Now, that number means almost nothing on its own. But here's the part that matters. Every molecule leaves behind its own unique fingerprint in light, a barcode of sorts. Scientists have spent decades building massive databases of these fingerprints from labs here on Earth. When they searched their databases for a match to this one, they found nothing. Then they checked Pluto. Using a completely different instrument, on a completely different mission, pointed at a completely different world, nearly 3 billion miles away. The exact same dip. The exact same 5.11 micrometer signature. To understand how strange this is, you need to understand how different these two worlds actually are. Titan is a moon wrapped in a thick, hazy atmosphere of nitrogen and methane, with actual lakes and rivers of liquid methane on its surface. It's one of the only places in the solar system with weather. Pluto, by contrast, is a tiny frozen dwarf planet with almost no atmosphere at all, sitting in permanent, brutal cold at the edge of everything. These two worlds are about as different as two icy bodies can be. And yet, scientists confirmed this signal wasn't some kind of glitch. It showed up on two separate instruments, NIRSpec and MIRI, which rules out equipment error. On Titan, the signal was narrow and sharp. On Pluto, it was roughly 3 times wider, but sitting at the exact same wavelength. Whatever this material is, it isn't coming from the atmosphere of either world. The data suggests it's baked directly into the surface ice itself, which means something is coating two unrelated worlds in two completely different environments with the same unidentified substance. Before we go any further, it's worth understanding just how this signal was even found in the first place, because this discovery literally could not have happened a decade ago. The James Webb Space Telescope launched in December 2021, and instead of orbiting Earth like Hubble, it sits nearly 1 million miles away, at a gravitational balance point called L2, constantly facing away from the Sun and Earth so its instruments can stay extremely cold. That cold is the whole point. Webb is built to see infrared light heat radiation invisible to human eyes, and to see it clearly, its instruments have to be cooled to incredibly low temperatures, or their own heat would drown out the faint signals from deep space. 2 of Webb's instruments made this discovery possible: NIRSpec and MIRI. NIRSpec captures near-infrared light with extraordinary precision, while MIRI reaches even further into the mid-infrared range, exactly where that mysterious 5.11 micrometer signal shows up. Hubble, for comparison, primarily sees visible and ultraviolet light. It simply does not have the instruments to detect a signal like this at all. This is not a case of scientists finally noticing something that was always visible. It is a signal that was completely invisible to every telescope humanity had ever built, until this one. And this will not be the last word either. NASA's Dragonfly mission, a nuclear-powered drone the size of a small car, is scheduled to actually land on Titan later this decade, giving scientists their first direct up-close look at the surface chemistry this signal might be coming from. In other words, this mystery is not just new because nobody looked before. It is new because, until a few years ago, nobody could have looked at all, and soon, we may be able to go there and check in person. So what is this thing? The leading theory involves something called tholins, reddish-brown organic residues that form when high-energy radiation blasts simple molecules like methane and nitrogen. Tholins are already known to exist on both Titan and Pluto, and they're part of why both worlds have that distinct rusty orange-brown tint. But here's the problem. Scientists tested this signal against the known chemical recipes for tholins in the lab. None of them matched. That leaves two real possibilities. Either this is a totally new class of organic compound, some kind of nitrogen-based or hydrocarbon molecule that only forms under the extreme cold and radiation found at the far edges of the solar system. Or it's an already known material, but arranged or bonded in a way no one has replicated in a laboratory yet. Either way, this material appears to have been sitting there, frozen into the surface, for potentially billions of years, a kind of chemical fossil nobody knew to look for until now. Here's why scientists aren't just shrugging this off as a curiosity. Titan is one of the single most important places in the entire solar system when it comes to studying the kind of organic chemistry that might eventually lead to life. It's essentially a natural laboratory for prebiotic chemistry, frozen in slow motion. If the same unexplained material shows up on Pluto too, a completely unrelated body in a completely different part of the solar system that suggests this chemical process isn't some rare local accident. It might be common. It might be happening on comets, on other moons, on countless icy dwarf planets we haven't even studied yet. In other words, our current chemical models of the outer solar system might be missing something fundamental. A process that's been quietly happening on icy worlds for billions of years, completely undetected, until one telescope happened to be sensitive enough to catch it. That's not just a fun fact. That's a gap in our understanding of how the raw ingredients for chemistry, maybe even life, get built and preserved across the solar system. Now, before this turns into a headline about aliens, a necessary dose of caution. This study was published as a preprint on June 11, 2026. That means it hasn't yet gone through full peer review. In science, that matters. Other labs need to independently verify this signal, rule out any remaining calibration issues, and try to actually reproduce the exact compound before this becomes an accepted fact rather than a promising lead. It's entirely possible this turns out to be a known material behaving in a way nobody's tested at these exact temperatures and pressures. Science is full of exciting anomalies that quietly resolve into mundane explanations once more data comes in. But it's also possible this holds up and becomes one of those rare moments where two instruments, two unrelated worlds, and one unexplained signal quietly rewrite a small piece of the textbook. Right now, multiple research teams are already racing to find out which one it is. If this all sounds unsettling, it helps to remember something. This is not the first time science has stared at an unexplained signal and had no immediate answer. In 1967, a young astronomer named Jocelyn Bell Burnell detected a strange, perfectly regular radio pulse coming from deep space so precise that her own team half-jokingly nicknamed it LGM-1, short for Little Green Men, because nothing natural seemed like it should pulse that consistently. It was not aliens. It turned out to be a rapidly spinning neutron star, a pulsar, and the discovery opened up an entirely new field of astrophysics. In 2005, NASA's Cassini spacecraft spotted plumes of water vapor erupting from cracks near the south pole of Enceladus, one of Saturn's icy moons. At first, scientists were not even sure what they were looking at. That single strange observation eventually confirmed a hidden subsurface ocean and turned Enceladus into one of the most promising places in the solar system to search for life. Not every mystery gets solved so cleanly, though. In 1977, a radio telescope picked up a powerful 72-second burst from deep space, so unusual that an astronomer circled it on the printout and wrote one word: wow. Nearly 50 years later, the wow signal has never repeated, and nobody has ever fully explained what caused it. Over and over, the pattern repeats. Something shows up in the data that does not match anything in the textbooks. Scientists resist jumping to dramatic conclusions, and years of careful follow-up work either reveal something genuinely new about how the universe works, or quietly remain a mystery for decades. That is most likely what is happening right now with Titan and Pluto. Not proof of anything exotic, but a real, unexplained signal that deserves careful, patient science before anyone claims to know what it is. So here's where that leaves us. Two icy worlds, billions of miles apart, with nothing in common except one unexplained fingerprint of light. A signature that doesn't match a single thing in any laboratory on Earth. Maybe it's a strange new form of organic chemistry that's been hiding in plain sight since the birth of the solar system. Or maybe it's something far stranger that scientists haven't even considered yet. Either way, somewhere out past Saturn, and out past Pluto, there's a piece of ice holding onto a secret that modern science, for now, simply cannot name. So here's a question for you. If scientists eventually confirm this really is a brand new molecule, Never seen before, what do you think they should name it? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to be here the moment this mystery actually gets solved, make sure you're subscribed because we'll be covering it the second new data comes in.